Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fan Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-host
Back.
Ben Lotman, Jake Holdzauer, Gabe Layden. Today, we got a good one for you. We're going to touch base on some baseball. We got some football, but know how it rolls. I got our new segment. We had a lot of football this past weekend. First thing I want to touch base on, I want to get everybody's opinion on this because it seems there's a lot from both sides. Guys, right before the Dolphins game, Tyreek Hill got pulled over by the cops. Same with Jonnu Smith and Calais Campbell. Whose side are we on for this? Out of curiosity, I know the Dolphins put out a statement saying that they will side with their players. So, like, what do you guys think?
I think, in my opinion, both sides were in the wrong. I think
I agree.
both sides went about it and handled it the wrong way. In terms of
I agree.
Tyreek should have just listened to what they were saying, but also the police officers
Aggressive.
were very over aggressive for no reason.
Yeah,
So
I 100% agree. Gabe, think the same thing?
Actually, I didn't get the chance to see the body cam footage, but
I did, and I'm gonna be honest with you. For what I saw from like the Calais Campbell perspective, they were like really aggressive towards that guy. He didn't even really do anything. They were just like, "You got to move your car, bro," and then he was like, "Why?" And then they kind of just handcuffed him. I was kind of just like, "What's the point?"
Yeah, and with Calais Campbell too, like he literally Calais Campbell's a Walter Payton Man of the Year,
yeah, he's a
winner.
great guy.
So there's no chance that Calais Campbell, out of all people, would be getting in trouble with the police. So it's just crazy. Yeah,
That's what I mean. He's a great guy. Some other news I got. Unfortunately, we have the news of Jordan Love being hurt after his game against the Eagles in Week 1. He's projected to be out, what, 3 or 4 weeks? Is it? It was knee injury. And what was
Yeah,
it? It was 3
something
weeks or
like that.
4.
anywhere
Alright, well-
from 3 to 6 weeks, I believe it said.
All
So it's
right.
kind
Well, let's hope he gets back soon because he's been very fun to watch since he started in Green Bay. Other football news: CMC was out in the first game and he might not even play in the second week. They came up with a statement, so that's a really big deal. By the way, Jordan Mason is an absolute baller. That kid is a stud, man. He came out of nowhere. Not saying
that
the
was
Jets
crazy
were,
with CMC though, because they really announced that
yeah.
an hour or two before the game or something like
Yeah,
that.
not saying the Jets were any good, especially since Hassan
No.
Reddick decided to sit out the first game of the season and got fined once again. Other news that I decided to pull out, no, I'll save that one. I got one more news before the funny one that I got. The Flyers put out their rookie camp. Did you see it, Ben?
I did.
Got some nice names on there. Oliver Bonk, Massimo Rizzo, Denver Barkey, and Mitch Kov are gonna be fire together. That's gonna be sick. Telling you, give that kid Denver Barkey another year or two, he'll be really really good. And the last funny part of the news that I decided to bring in, I saw a tweet about it today, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna add it into the news segment. Everybody knows who Jose Canseco is, right? And how he
Yes.
wants to have his own home run derby. I was
Uh-huh.
looking through the roster and it said that Josh Reddick is now on the roster. And obviously they have Eric Sim. If you don't know who he is, he's a baseball YouTuber. And
No.
Antonio Brown's also on the roster. So this thing's just going south side, man.
I can't believe the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers is now a part of the home run derby.
Dude, it makes no sense whatsoever. It makes
That's crazy.
0 sense. Like 0 sense. I'm just like questioning every single piece of it. Last little bit of news that I want to say. Guys, what happened to the Bengals this weekend?
Bro, that's a sour. You want to hear a story about me and the Bengals?
Joe Burrow
So-
was my quarterback.
So I decide this weekend I'm going to sign up for FanDuel, right? And me and FanDuel had an experience this week, and I decided, you get $200 in free bets. I'm like, what is the most obvious pick? Bengals to cover the
Bengals.
spread. $200
Mhm.
on them to cover the spread, and they lost. Thank you.
Yeah, they didn't even win the game either.
Yeah.
That was rough.
But it gets
Yeah.
better. We'll talk about FanDuel later in the show. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It turns around. It turns around for me.
Yeah, there's a happy end to the story, so at least there's that. I don't want to spoil
Yeah.
it for
Yeah,
you.
and spoiler alert: nobody picked the Bengals to lose last week in our NFL
Mhm.
pick'em.
I don't think anybody in the entire United States picked the Bengals to lose.
Yeah, I don't think
Wanna-
the Bengals.
I want to throw it out there before we move into the fantasy football recap. I think I'm a little bit too excited for hockey season, as you can see. I am not a Lightning fan, but I am a diehard Victor Hedman fan. So take that as you wish. One of the best defensemen I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah.
You got something to say, Ben?
One little update. I don't know if we're going to touch on I don't think we're going to touch on college football on today's show, but I just want to,
We
for our viewers,
could a
Penn
little
State-
bit.
Penn State won. They won.
They
Barely.
almost
barely
lost the
But they're
Bowling Green.
alive. They're alive.
Will
I'm not
Levis
getting
jersey,
that Will Levis jersey is not being worn.
Yes,
It's
yes, it
not
will
happening.
be.
It will
Um,
be. It
Are
will
we
be.
in the playoffs though?
Fantasy football recap, fellas. I'll start. Going into Sunday night, I was up 40 on Jake's friend James, and Cooper Cup decided to go into Cooper Cup 2 years ago and decided to put up 32 points. Next thing you know, I'm up like 2 points against James, and all he needed was Brandon Ayuk, and I was like, all right. I mean, I'm pretty much screwed one way or another. Then I'm halfway through the game. It's in the third. Brandon Ayuk got 2 points. I'm still winning. I'm like, no shot that I win this. And then, of course, he just gets another catch and I lose. And I'm like, you know what? That's great.
And
I had Aaron Jones, who was a top 5 running back that week. Saquon Barkley, who was top 5 running back that week. A.J. Brown and Stephon Diggs. I taunted him with 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns I taunted him with and still proceeded to lose. And you know who I blame? Back to FanDuel again. Joe Burrow, you suck. You are horrible, man. What happened?
Chris, how many points did you lose by?
Like .30. Like literally .30, bro. It is complete and utter BS. I think let me check, because I think I would have won if the Chiefs defense didn't have -2, because I think I had the Chiefs defense.
Yeah. You only lost by like under a point.
Dude,
Yep,
I had 8
point-
touchdowns. No, you know
lost
what?
By 0.9, I believe.
There's also somebody else that I'm going to throw some shade at because it's deserved. After what I saw in week 1, I'm sticking with the right brain in this situation. I said Jaden Daniels was going to be better than Caleb Williams, and you saw what Caleb Williams did in week 1. You are a bust, Caleb Williams. You are trash.
One game.
But hey, wait.
Trash.
And to be fair, Caleb Williams is the
He didn't
first.
throw a single touchdown game.
He's the first #1 pick since David Carr to win his
David
debut.
Carr.
Since David Carr to win his debut. So you got to give him props. Even though he didn't do nothing, they still
Give
won
him
the
props. He threw no touchdown with one of the craziest offenses I've seen for a first overall pick.
Give him some
You
time,
had
he'll
Gerald
be fine.
Everett. You had Gerald Everett as your backup tight end, who was great last year. Cole Kmet was phenomenal last year with Justin Fields. You got Keenan Allen, Odunze, and DJ Moore, and you still proceed to suck, even with DeAndre Swift. You're trash. I said before the draft even happened, they should have traded that pick, and they should have rode it out with Justin Fields. You saw what Justin Fields was doing in Chicago, but no, let's just throw the quarterback to the curb as if he's a nobody. That's why he's balling out in Pittsburgh now. He's going to stay the starter, too.
Out. I would not say
Wait till he
balling out.
finds his chemistry with Pickens.
He also did not get a touchdown. They didn't score an offensive. Did they even score an offensive point in that game?
I think so. But you just got to give him time. He's got to find his connection with Pickens. He had that connection with DJ Moore.
Same
You
thing
saw
with
what
Williams.
happened.
Williams is more talented than Fields, so he'll also find his footing.
I don't believe that. Like I said, though, you saw what Jaden Daniels did. I know everybody saw Jaden Daniels ball out. Kid's a dog. I've been saying that. I should have started him in our fantasy league. He ended up with 29 points on my
You starting him
bench.
next week? You starting next week?
Yeah, you jumped right in my lineup. You know what might happen in my main league too? I might take out Joe Burrow too, throwing friggin' Baker Mayfield at 29. Tired of Joe Burrow. What the hell, man? Even though I won, but like still. Anybody else want to give their recap?
I'd be happy
I
to,
want Ben.
honestly.
Ben. I want to hear your week.
I'm not gonna lie. This week was a struggle, but I knew going into it was going to be a struggle because a lot of my players just did not have good matchups at all. I mean, my best player, Brees Hall, was at San Francisco. My other running back was at Kansas City. My tight end was against Dallas. My defense was against Dallas. So, I'm not going to take too much out of it, but I will say on the positive side of things, I didn't have one performance that was straight up atrocious. Just in general, I only had one guy go over 20 points, which just isn't going to work. But I think moving forward, I still think I'm confident my team will make the playoffs. I like where my team is at, and I was able to pick up Isaiah Likely, which is really nice. Still going to make some more additions. I'm not really sure on my final lineup yet, moving into this week. Still trying to figure that out, but we'll see. I guess I don't know. We'll definitely see what happens.
What
I
I
got
will
a
say
quick
is
question.
too, I forgot to mention the Jake Ferguson injury. He got hurt too
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 weeks. Go on, Jake.
I do have a question before Gabe, you give your recap of what happened with your team. Do you guys think with Isaiah Likely having as big of a game as he did week 1, do you think he's a lock to now score more points than Mark Andrews?
Oh, 100%. When Mark Andrews just looks slow now. Like he's
He's getting up there in age.
I don't want to say he's washed, but he looked incredibly washed. And I was sitting watching that game, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, Isaiah Likely had great blocking, which is one of his biggest weaknesses.
Here's my thing.
So-
Maybe injuries are getting to him at this point. We're getting into a new era of tight ends because you're starting to see it from a lot of the tight ends getting slower and slower. Travis Kelce, Darren Waller retired. I mean, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Shout
So
out to
you
Darren
got
Waller.
At that
you
point,
got guys
at
like
that point, I think it's like Travis Kelce, where even though he isn't talent-wise a top 3 to top 5 tight end anymore, you still at this point, like in Mark Andrews' career, you just got to scheme him to be open instead of hoping he gets open.
Yeah.
If that makes
maybe
sense.
it's
'Cause
maybe
it's like
it's time for the new tight ends. Though. I mean, I'm cool
Yeah.
with it. I love Laporta. T.J. Hawkinson's still very young. Isaiah Likely's good. Cole Kmet. I mean, you got guys. David Njoku too.
Yeah.
So
Theo Johnson. Don't sleep on Theo Johnson.
I think I also got a report saying David Njoku won't play week 2.
He's
I'm not too sure.
he's on my team. He's gonna miss at least week 2, maybe week 3.
Dang.
That's rough.
But again, not a surprise. David Njoku miss it. It seems to me like he gets hurt quite frequently.
That's rough. Jake, Gabe, recap.
I can go for it.
Yep.
Listen, guys, my opponent had the second most points in the league. It's tough.
Who was your opponent?
My opponent was. I actually got to look this
Patty.
up. Hold on a second.
You faced Patty.
Patty.
Patty Heckard. Yeah, he had the number 1
But-
overall pick.
Yeah, so it was tough, but I scored the most points in the league. So
Oh!
yeah,
Oh! With how many? How many you score?
nothing crazy. 150, 1.9.
You had the
I can't
most
believe everyone
points
else-
in week
I can't
1.
believe everyone else is so
I had the
chill.
most points in
That's
week
actually
1.
crazy.
Listen, Travis
Wow.
Etienne scored 11.9. I had Garrett Wilson with 12 points. I had Kincaid scored 2.1. But it's all right. The rest of the team carried. I had 4 players over 20. 3 of those 4 had over 25. So I had some big weeks from Lamar, from A-Chain. I had a big week from Tyreek Hill, following the arrest,
Wow.
and Joe Mixon as
Yeah.
well. So it was a great week for me.
Yeah.
I'm
A-Chain
projected.
might be out this week though, so you got to be careful for that.
Jake,
Yeah, I got to switch that up. But I think I'm
What's-
projecting the most points in the league.
what's your recap looking like, Jake?
My recap, pretty comfortable win last week. I first Sean Gravely, and he was the one who had, I believe, the either 3rd or 4th overall pick. He has CeeDee Lamb, my big guy.
I'm
was
playing
on
him
the
this
raw.
week.
Yep, and
Amon-Ra didn't do
I mean,
great.
So I won 122 to 105 with Amon-Ra scoring less than 5 points, and Mark Andrews scoring less than 4 points. So I'm pretty confident in my team. Jonathan Taylor even busted last week. He only had 10 points. But I mean, Alvin Kamara has 22 points. The Cowboys defense, I drafted them knowing they would either score 20 or score -3. Jaime Fairbairn has 17 points. So,
Wow.
and Debo had 18. So it's like I did well, and my team didn't even play to its best ability.
Fair. Fair.
And now next week I'm facing Ben. So Ben, get ready.
I'm
I
facing
am
Sean.
destroying you.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
now
I'm not.
you-
I'm gonna be projected to lose against you now because I'm changing my lineup a little bit, but
Yeah,
I'm confident. My team has some good matchups this week, so
so out
I'm
of the people in the pod, we went 2-2.
Yeah.
Out
Yeah,
of the
you guys
four of
gotta
us.
pick it up. I'm not gonna lie, Chris.
Yeah,
Ben,
honestly,
what
I
are
like,
we
was
doing
up
yeah,
here?
our
40
back-
What are we?
points.
You're
Ooh,
giving us a bad
backs are a
name.
little
Come on,
bit-
guys.
I was up 40 points. What else can I do?
You
what
scored
else can I
41
do?
Points.
There's only so much I could yell at Joe Burrow in one weekend.
yeah.
I've
You
been
should have
yelling
up
Joe
41
Burrow
and a half
nonstop. All right. Moving into our first actual segment, though. My favorite segment. Player of the week. Oh,
I
is
gotta go
this?
first. Let me go first. I
Is
gotta
this
go.
fun? All right, Ben. I'll let you have the spotlight because I know mine's just gonna be great, and these two are
All
just
right.
gonna be sobbing.
All right. So, as you know, FanDuel this weekend did not hit very good, but I still had, I won my last bet of the weekend, so I had like $40 left on my account, and so I decided, all right. Everybody knows that we're recording this on Wednesday. It's a big anniversary of a certain horrible tragedy. So Nick Castellanos, of all people, you know what he likes to do, and also aside from that, he got thrown at yesterday and got into a fight. So I was like,
Yup.
this
That
guy's
should
gonna
be
have
clear.
this guy's gonna have some energy today. So I bet on my player of the week, Nick Castellanos, to hit a home run and the Phillies to win. I was at the game, and it's the first inning.
They won 3-2, correct?
They did, and I'm with my grandfather, and I turn to him. I'm like, "This at bat, it's gonna happen." I told him about my bet. I'm like, "This at bat, it's gonna happen," and he hit a homer. It was like a line drive that was, I kid you not, like 3 inches above the home run line. I did not think they called it a home run. I was like, damn. They went to review. I'm like, there's no way this is a home run. And it turned out it was a home run, 2-run home
Wow.
run. Castellanos was the player of the game. He scored 2 of the 3 runs. So, I guess I'm a genius. I don't know. I mean, if the Cincinnati
to
Bengals
hear
were
it.
actually a
We
team,
love to see. We love to see the boys succeed. Which one of you two wants to go? Because I'll go last at this point.
All right.
That's crazy.
All
Jake?
right.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I'll definitely go. So mine's not gonna get a big reaction, but it's just like as a fan of this team, I will finally give them their props and say thank you to the GM. The Yankees, my player of the week is the Martian, Jason Dominguez. They finally called him up after them trying to manipulate his
Taking way
service
too
time.
long.
It is so annoying. So basically, I won't go too in depth, but if he was called up originally at September call-ups when they first started, he would have been eligible to be a rookie this year if he played every game. So then they're waited until the Royals series, which just happened, which the Yankees just walked it off against the Royals. They waited until the Royals series to call him up because now he physically can't play enough games, so he gets another year on to the end of his contract. So it's ridiculous. Brian Cashman also said Alex Verdugo's a better player. He's not.
He's just
He's just not. Even though he hit a home run the other day, but he hit the home run because Jason Dominguez was up in the majors, and friendly competition is a good thing.
Mhm.
So come on. So the Martian, he's up in the majors. The thing is, he's going to do amazing, but then he's going to get sent down for the playoffs. So
Yep.
I don't know how to feel, but I'm happy that he's in the majors.
Yep. Gabe?
I was between two. I made a last second switch.
Please,
Quick shout
please.
out though. Shout out to a certain U.S. men's national team manager that just got announced today, but he will be, I'm sure, talked about on a future episode. For now, let's talk about the hottest team in baseball, the New York Mets. All right. So we're down 1-0. We're getting no hit through the top of the ninth inning. Francisco Lindor leads off the inning. He's down 0-2. He has an 0-2 count. What does he do? Bam, home run, ties the game up. All right, so that gives us some life. This is a super important game. At the time, we're tied with Atlanta for that last wild card spot. They throw in their reliever. He walks like 3 straight guys. We have bases loaded. A couple of sacrifice flies later, we're up 3-1. Francisco Alvarez, the other Francisco, steps up to the plate. Another homer puts us up 6-1. We win the game 6-2. We're now 1 game ahead of Atlanta, and we're not safely in that wild card spot, but we're there. We're there for now. So
I was questioning it because I was driving with my dad, and I was like, "Oh, I just got a notification that the Blue Jays are about to throw a no hitter." And then 10 minutes later, I check, and it said 6-2. I was like, "There was like 2 outs left. How's it 6-2?"
You guys
I'm
Bro,
looking
I
at it,
don't
I'm
know.
like,
I forget the
like,
name
what
of
is going
that
on?
Blue Jays reliever, but bro, like
do you
3
guys
straight
It was
Yeah.
walks.
Harris. Was his last name Harris?
No, with Green, I think.
Chad Green,
He,
Yankee legend. Yeah.
yeah,
You guys
it
wanna
was
hear
just
funny-
not
funny
a good
stat?
inning from him. I think he ended up throwing. He didn't even finish the inning either. So
The Jays are unfortunately really awful.
Yeah.
this was set
Funny
to be a tough
stat.
series for us, though. We still dropped a game, and now we have the Phillies next. So I'm still crossing my
You got
fingers.
the Philly. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. Did you realize you got the Phillies for 2 more series?
Whoa. That's big.
Yeah,
Because I was
Listen.
looking at it right before we jumped on, and it said the next series is you guys. Then we have 1 more series at home, which
Against
is the Cubs, and then it's you guys again in the Nationals to end the year.
Listen, all we can do is 1 game at a time at this point.
So
We're in a
you
super
guys
close
got a
race.
3-game series here. We got a 4-game series at your house.
Wow.
It's going to be tough. It's a super difficult schedule. And honestly, I'm still not the most hopeful that we have that spot locked up. I mean, obviously we don't, but we can only take 1 game at a time at this point. It's going to be tough.
Mhm.
But I don't know. We'll see. That would be great if we went on this crazy stretch to the end of the year and then make the wild card.
Yeah.
Or win the World Series.
Did you guys know that Bowden Francis, the guy that was throwing the no-hitter this year, or no-hitter against the Mets, did you know that earlier this year he had another no-hitter go into the 9th inning and it was broken up with another hit?
That's
It took
horrible.
So not only
two
that,
no-hitters.
Not only that, Jake, but I believe they were talking about this on the broadcast. I think it was also broken up by another top of the 9th home run.
Wow.
So it was within like
Two-
the past what was it,
It's
couple of weeks
horrible.
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
terrible
So,
luck for him.
Bowden Francis, 2 hitters taken into the 9th inning, both broken up by home runs. That's gotta suck, man.
Yeah,
That's gotta suck because
gotta hurt.
you're pitching well, but also you're not pitching well at the same time. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
All right, Jake. I know you've been trying to hold me off.
Here we
off.
go.
Yeah, it's time. I think we're time for an NFL preview or something like that. Right,
Player
Chris?
of the week. My player of the week, guys. How can we forget? Take your hands off your ears. All right. The Eagles played against the Packers. I was at Xfinity Live. It was packed. It was mobbed, bro. I literally lost my voice for 3 straight days because all I kept screaming was Saquon. Saquon.
I hate that guy. I hate him so
He finally knows what the taste of winning is like. It's
We made the
beautiful.
playoffs.
We made the
It is
playoffs.
Beautiful. Guess what? I'm going to say it right here, right now. And I don't care how you guys look at me when I say this. Saquon Barkley will impact the Eagles harder than CMC impacting the Niners. Stamp it.
If you don't make the Super Bowl, then no.
Let me just put this out there. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I've absolutely said this to either Ben or Chris, or I don't think I said this to Jake because it might have been before he joined the pod. But I put it out there before all this happened, before the regular season started, that Saquon Barkley could be the best running back in the league this year, and talent-wise might be. Uh, he's not going to do three. He's not going to put up 3 touchdowns every game. We know that. But
He's gonna start
he's
putting
gonna.
on
I
5.
wouldn't. Don't be shocked if he's the best running back in the league, just because people forget how good he is just because of the offensive line that he played behind and Daniel Jones throwing him the ball, because he's a great receiving back, as you guys saw on
Dude.
Thursday.
Talk
It
about
was a tough loss for us, but listen, I understand the decision. It sucks that it had to be the Eagles, but we just weren't going to pay him. So
Talk about a
I need-
nasty first touchdown as an Eagle too. That catch was beautiful.
he's a
I need
great
to-
receiving back.
That reminded me. That
Beautiful.
reminded me so much of Corey Clement when he was in his prime on the Eagles. That catch.
Yeah, the best part
If you're,
of that.
if you're not an Eagles fan, you don't know, but prime Corey Clement was
No.
a beast.
I know,
I do
I
know
know Corey
Corey
Clement, but the
Clement.
fact that he is ever being compared to Barkley is crazy.
The best part of my night too wasn't even Saquon. It was the fact that one of my buddies is a Packers fan, and he was just getting ripped the whole night. He was just getting ripped. Every time Saquon got the ball, he was like, "No, please, no." It looked
need
like
to-
a
I need
dude
to
was
say-
just suffering, man.
I need to say one thing about Barkley.
You love him.
No, I absolutely despise him and hate his guts now. But when he had that first handoff and he slipped on his face,
Nah,
For
it's
5
not his
yards.
fault. That field was
I-
trash.
gave out the loudest belly laugh like I was Santa Claus.
And then it
at the
came to bite
TV.
you.
It came back to bite me, but it was the same reaction I had when Brees Hall fumbled that first ball. Like, I just laughed so hard because it's like, oh my God, this is going to go terribly. And then it turned around on me. So,
Yep. All right, we're gonna come back to football because we got a baseball segment since we haven't spoken about baseball too much, and we're coming towards the end of the year for baseball. Coming soon, it's gonna be Red October, Ben. You know what I'm saying?
Going to my first Phillies playoff game this year. I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
It's gonna be good.
Whoa.
I got my rally towel. I'm excited. I'm hyped up and excited. So first off, how we feeling about this baseball season overall?
Nervous.
good.
Like
Nervous
no,
as
not
well.
even like about what your team is gonna be like in the few coming
Oh.
weeks. Like just in general of this whole
Excited.
season. Did you
Excited.
enjoy it?
This is
I think-
the first year since I believe they said 2004 that there won't be a 100 wins team. And I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I like
Hey,
it
the
too.
Phillies could still get there. The Phillies could still get there. You never know.
Yeah, but this is if you're Robert Manfred, you are so excited and so happy with how this season played because you thought beginning of the season Juan Soto was going to the Yankees, creating a powerhouse. You thought Corbin
Shohei.
Burns was going to the Orioles, creating a powerhouse. You thought Shohei Ohtani, Yonoshibu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, even Teoscar Hernandez going to the Dodgers, creating the best team we might have ever seen. And yet this is the most competitive season we have ever seen in baseball history. It is awesome. It is absolutely amazing.
Gotta love it.
I got a few questions for you guys about this baseball season. First thing, I'll start off with this. I want everybody to say their favorite moment of the season. And mine is very, very, very recent. As in
Mine
like
too.
2 days ago. I went to the Phillies
Mine was
game
about-
against the Rays where Cody Clemens walked it off. And this moment is going to sound so stupid. It's going to sound so stupid, but it was the best part of it. Was like one of the best moments ever in my life. I'm watching the game. I'm like, okay, we can easily walk it off here. I keep looking at my boy because the last Phillies game he was at was when Bryson Stott walked it off against the Angels in the regular season, 2 years ago, I think it was. So Bryson Stott came up. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to walk it off. He's going to walk it off. No, it doesn't walk it off. So then he's like, it's like this constant, whenever somebody would come up, I'm like, they're just going to walk it off, right? So next thing you know, I'm looking at the number. I'm not even looking at the big screen. I'm looking at the number. I'm like, who is that? And then I look at the big screen and it says Buddy Kennedy. And I went, who's Buddy Kennedy? Who is Buddy Kennedy? I'm looking at myself. I'm like, who? Next thing you know, this dude's standing ovation might have been louder than Trey Turner's with people just screaming Buddy. And it makes no sense. And without him getting on base with 2 outs, Cody Clemens would have never walked at all. So I'm going with the Buddy Kennedy standing ovation as my favorite moment. 20 years down the line, they're going to be talking about Buddy Kennedy, and I'm all for it.
Wow.
Anybody else got a favorite moment?
So mine hasn't happened yet, but I know it's going to be. Just wait.
Well,
Just wait.
Can't
Just
bank
wait.
on anything
It does not have to do with
That's
the
like
Phillies.
me saying Ellie De La
That's not-
Cruz is going to
Yo,
knock the Dodgers out the playoffs.
Everybody watching this, clip it and chip it. Whatever Ben is about to say is not going to happen.
There's no
Well, it's guaranteed to happen. You guys are actually going to like this one, so maybe don't laugh at me. My favorite moment of the season is going to be the Oakland A's last home game when it's going to be a sellout and all the fans are going to be
Okay.
chanting "sell the team" and it's going to be so awesome and I'm so excited to watch it. That's going to be my favorite moment.
That's a good one.
Jake,
but-
favorite moment?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a Yankee fan, there isn't one that sticks out to me. I have like 5, so I'll just give a quick like run through. So because it's been an up and down
Just
season,
give
but that's what you want.
one.
I can't give one.
Yes, you can. Everybody's
Fine.
giving one.
Fine. Yankees swept the Phillies, and Jazz Chisholm. I went to both games where he hit 3 home
You know
runs.
what? I
That's my favorite.
appreciate you for bringing up the games that ruined my birthday. Thanks.
Yeah. Boo. Boo hoo.
Thanks. Gabe,
But no,
favorite
Jazz-
moment.
No, wait. Jazz Chisholm, he
Oh
hit
my
3 home
God.
runs with the Yankees. It was his first time, basically directly after getting traded. His first game with the first 2 games with the Yankees, he hits 6 home runs in 2 days, and he hit one with Aaron Judge's bat. So it was awesome. I got to see it live. Best week of baseball in my entire life. It was awesome.
Gabe,
I made it to one Mets game this year against the A's. It was a crazy game because I think Mark Vientos had 2 homers, put the Mets up like 5-0, and then we ended up losing 6-5. So it could have been my
That's the
favorite
most-
moment of the year.
That's the most Mets game of all time.
Quintana
Yeah.
just sucks. As much as I don't want to say what happened today was my favorite moment, it's gotta be. I mean, like we're right there. We just lost against the Blue Jays. I think it was yesterday, and
I respect it.
You don't want to see it slip away from you. Now, you guys ever had that season where it could be the Phillies, could be the Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, whoever it is, Jake, for you, the New York teams, that you don't think it's going to be good, and then halfway through the season or towards the end, you're like, whoa, we're like really in this thing. We can make the playoffs, or even further than that, we're like a top contender, and you don't want to let go of that. I'm at that point in the season where it's like, it would absolutely suck if we came all this way and missed the playoffs. Seeing Lindor, one of my favorite players, well, actually, I would say Lindor is my favorite player right now, hit the home run and start the momentum for this team in the top of the 9th inning with a 0-2 count. That's got to be, if they make the playoffs, that would be an awesome way to not start the run. Obviously, they've had this 9-game win streak, but to keep it alive, or at least keep the hope alive. Even if they don't make the playoffs, this will go down as like a solid season, especially with expectations before everything began. So I would say what happened today had to be my favorite moment because I was just jumping up and down during that inning.
I got 3 more questions that we'll kind of speed run through it, and then that'll be the end of the baseball segment. Then we'll start really getting back into it once Red October comes around and stuff.
It'll be blue
But
October over here.
nah, just Red
Straight
October.
for me.
I want to know if you guys could pick like your most exciting player this season, who would it be?
Oh. This is
Before
easy.
people steal my answer here, there's only one guy I can really pick here, and this kid's just every
gonna
year he's
probably
just
agree.
getting every year this kid just gets better and better and better. I'm going with Bobby Witt Jr.
I
Just
was gonna say the same
unbelievable,
guy. Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna say Bobby Wood as well. I just can't think of a guy that I wish. I love the Kansas City Royals, but I really wish that guy was in a bigger market because more people would know
Yeah.
about him. Because nobody watches Kansas City games because they're a small market
But
team and it sucks.
The
But
good thing
he's
about
great.
Witt, though, is that he's the type of player that can now make Kansas City into a bigger market team because of how good he is. Because they locked him up. They signed him for a 7-year deal. So as long as they keep around him and create a dynasty around him, he will possibly make Kansas City a bigger market team, which is awesome.
I hate to be that guy going back to it, but I mean, it's got to be it's Pete Alonso, obviously, our all-star this year. It's got to be our MVP candidate. It's got to be Francisco Lindor.
He's been awesome.
That's a big time. Nobody thought who can compete with Shohei Ohtani for the MVP race. Nobody except Francisco.
In the NL, and the NL, no one. In the
I
AL,
want to
there's a guy.
I want to give a quick baseball update too. Shohei's about to close in on a 50-50 season, and the Dodgers just hit 4 home runs in 1 inning on the Cubs.
Oh my goodness!
They're
Shout
winning
out to the Cubs.
5-3, but like still.
Big shout out to the Cubs.
The Giants
What
are
a-
also winning 10-1, which I thought was kind of funny over the Brewers. That aside, anybody? Jake, you went right for exciting player.
No, I didn't. Mine is a boring answer, but also he's one of
Juan
these guys where
Soto.
no, it's not. It's a boring answer, but it's because he's so good that we expect so much from him. It's Aaron Judge.
You
Like,
should have said
he-
Paul Skeens. I would have been happy.
oh yeah, but also Paul. Look, Aaron Judge for the first month of the season was one of the worst hitters in baseball. People forget that. People forget that he was one of the worst hitters in baseball for the first month, and then going
It's
into June, he picked it up, he turned it around, and then he went on, not lying to you, the best stretch in MLB history. It's not a joke, it's not a stretch. It is literally fact that he had the best, I believe, 100-something game stretch in MLB history. We've never seen anything like this. And yes, right now he's cooled off and he hasn't hit a home run in 16 games, but we still witnessed history to where nobody ever in history did what Aaron Judge did this season. And even though he might not break the record again, he might become the 3rd guy in MLB history to have multiple 60 home run seasons. And the other 2 guys that are a part of that took steroids. So this is absolutely amazing
Fair.
that we are able to see this. And it's such a privilege for him to be on my team. Because if he was on someone else's team, I would not be a baseball fan. I literally.
And the
Next.
MLB's only been around for what, like 100-something years?
And yeah, and when you look at the record books, Aaron Judge's name is up with all of the all-time greats. His name is always next to Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, and Mickey Mantle in every single category.
You forgot my guy Jose Trevino.
What? He's a backup catcher. Because Austin Wells, clip this right here. Austin Wells is Rookie of the Year. If he is not,
No.
MLB is ranked.
Now time to kind of flip it over a little bit. Everyone's favorite underrated player this year. I got a great one to start us off. I went with none other than my guy Brenton Doyle. I mean, slashing 266, 22 home runs, 67 RBIs on 134 hits. Kid's insanely fast. He's a great fielder. I mean, nobody expected this kid to just start going off. And if Nolan Jones gets back to where he was last year, the Rockies got some promising guys starting to put this team together. I'm really excited to see what Brenton Doyle does going forward. So that's my underrated pick.
Can I go next?
Yeah,
Can I
go
next?
for it.
I think the best person that fits under this category is he's a rookie this season. And if it was any other year, he would win Rookie of the Year. It's Jackson Merrill.
Chorio?
No, Jackson Merrill, the other Jackson. Jackson Merrill was
man.
was he an all-star this season? I believe he was an all-star. I believe
think
he was
so.
an all-star this season, and he's been amazing. He's a shortstop that transitioned to center field. We don't see that too often besides like Mookie Betts, who's now back at shortstop. And he's taken that position and became a great fielder. He has become one of the most clutchest players in the MLB. He doesn't look like a rookie, which is crazy because he is. This is his first year in the majors. He is one of the best players on the Padres, and the only reason he's not going to win Rookie of the Year this year is because of Paul Skeens. So
Yep.
Jackson Merrill, here's your flowers. I'm giving them to you right now because you are an amazing player. And unfortunately, you're stuck in a bad situation because Paul Skeens is also amazing.
Jackson Marrow, you've heard it here. Jake really wants you on the pod. So make your
Yes.
way. Make your way.
Yes, please.
I will gladly formally invite you. I will come. I'm not kidding. I will show up to the podcast in a suit and tie if you come.
I will honestly, I would travel out to San Diego just to go put you on. I will.
Perfect. Gabe,
Yo,
Ben.
mentioned this guy earlier. Not too much though. This guy Mark Vientos, the third baseman. He's been really an inspirational player throughout this run, and one of the reasons that we're at the point that we're at right now. He's batting 276 on the year with 24 homers and 62 RBIs. Again, just like out of nowhere. Didn't really expect him to be this big of an impact on the team, but
And Gabe, he took over Brett Beatty's job too, right? Like
He
he's
did,
the reason
yep.
like Brett Beatty is no longer like a part of the plan.
yeah, and I mean, he was seen as. I feel like a lot of Mets fans really were looking at him as like part of the future, Brent Beatty, but I mean, Vientos is.
I think that window's closed now.
Yeah, I mean, probably
100%.
with the way that Vientos is playing right now. I mean, we'll see where he takes us, and can't wait to see how he helps us on this playoff run.
Ben?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer here, but I think it's fair. This guy in his first 2 seasons, he was awful. He sucked. He was atrocious. And then last season, he was solid, but he didn't pitch as much as some of the people would have liked. But this season, he's come full circle, and he's finally become that number 3. On some staffs, he would be a really good number 2, and that's Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez this season for the Phillies has been an underrated gem. He's 10-9 with a 3.33 ERA and a WHIP at 1.24. His ERA is 14th in baseball. He has 135 Ks, and he's just been all around very, very
Great.
solid throughout this season. I mean, he's had his
All-star
ups
this
and
year,
downs.
too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's had his ups and downs, but I mean, over his past, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts. Over his past 5 starts, he's given up what is that? 8 runs over his past 5 starts. So coming down the stretch, he's been clutch, and it's been much needed as Ranger Suarez has struggled down the stretch. But you look at this Phillies pitching in the past 2 postseasons, they really only had those 2 starters, and now it's extended out. Christopher
Yeah.
Sanchez, Ranger Suarez.
I wish we
They
had
don't have-
Turnbull healthy too.
I was thinking Turnbull. I mean, you look at Turnbull's numbers before he went down, and now he's probably
was
out for the rest of the
electric.
season. His ERA was 2.65, and I mean, coming into this, he was signed, I believe, either right at the start of spring training or
He
even
was.
after spring training.
Chris, didn't I tell you about Turnbull too on our radio show last semester?
I'll give you your props.
Thank you.
Oh
Can I do an honorable mention real quick for underrated player? Just
yeah, I was gonna
honorable
do
mention.
one. I was gonna do one too.
Okay, real quick honorable mention. You guys might not think he's underrated because he is the best closer in baseball, but it's just crazy how good he's doing, and I feel like he doesn't get enough props for it. Emmanuel Clase. No, Emmanuel Clase right now is on amazing. Like he's having a great year. The only other person to have this good of a year as a closer was Mariano Rivera, who's the best pitcher of all time, and he's doing so good. He's 3rd in the league in Cy Young. 3rd in the league in Cy Young, which is crazy because relievers don't get votes anymore. Closers don't get votes for that
Yeah.
anymore. But he's having such an elite year that he's 3rd in the league in Cy Young. So
Yeah.
good job, Emmanuel Clase. You've been having an amazing year for the Guardians.
I think
My-
honestly he should be 2nd. I mean, obviously Schoolball
Over Corbin Burns.
I think so. I mean, Corbin Burns, he's a great pitcher, but I think he's had a slightly down year for his standards.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tariq Skubal is the runaway Cy Young in the American League. The National League is a little bit tighter, but I think he can honestly push for it. Realistically, I mean, he's been
If
insane.
If Skubal has the rest of his starts be bad outings, I think Clase could actually sneak in there to win Cy
Mhm.
Young.
My
Absolutely.
quick honorable mention before I move on to our last question, which is a rapid fire question. So get ready for that. My quick honorable mention, right where my finger is, that baseball right there, right on top, with Weston Wilson and Jeff Hoffman signatures on it. Quick honorable mention, shout out to both my boys. Weston Wilson was batting 300. My guy. For a rapid fire question, favorite underrated team? I'm going with the Twins. Rapid
Interesting.
fire.
Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks. Cool. I hate the Diamondbacks, but cool. Ben.
I'm going Royals. I like the Royals.
Royals. Gabe.
Do I have to choose a different one?
It would be cool.
My second team's the Mets, by the way. Even though I'm a Yankees fan, the Mets are my second favorite underrated
Let's
team.
go. Would you call? I mean, because there's such a close race, they might not even make it. Would you call the Braves underrated at this point? Because I feel like if they do make that wild card, which, in all honesty, I have them making it, I think they could do some damage in the playoffs.
With the injuries as well, I think they have become underrated with all the injuries.
I agree. All right. Moving on to the next segment. We'll talk more about baseball once, the playoffs come back around. Playoff baseball is always the best to watch. I loved every second of the Rangers beating up on the Diamondbacks last year, if you didn't know. Our football recap of this past weekend. Obviously, there was the Eagles slaughtering Packers with Saquon Barkley.
Whoa,
aside,
whoa. Slaughtering?
Yeah, Saquon.
Because
that's not
Saquon ate that
defense. If I recall, I did have a bet on that game for the Eagles to win by. I had two. I had one for the Eagles to cover 3.5 and one for 5.5, and I think one of those bets didn't even hit. So I think slaughtering is a bit of it's a bit of a reach.
And wasn't the game decided because Jordan Love got hurt and they were on the last play to potentially come back?
I think I do, Jake.
Jordan Love got hurt on the second to
Malik,
last play.
they just decided to bring in Malik Willis.
Yeah.
They decided and they didn't have to.
Yeah, they just decided.
Yeah, just a choice, yeah.
Guys, while I was hanging out for a family gathering actually on Sunday where we all watched football and stuff, we were celebrating my parents' 30th anniversary. There was a surprise party that we held. I'm sitting there, I'm watching football. I pulled up in one of my favorite jerseys, I was like, I get to watch Myles Garrett play today. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to watch him beat up on Dallas. What happened?
What I said was going to happen. They always win week one, and they're always a much better team. Well, not always a much better team, but you guys gave them no credit.
I'm going to say this.
Deshaun Watson has decided he does not want to be a professional football player anymore.
Before you say anything about that guy, I actually want to bring up a point. I'm going to say this right here, right now, because the three of you probably have no idea about any of this. As a kid, I was always mixed when it came to football. Obviously, my go-to team was always the Eagles. But I had a lot of different perspectives. I assume we all did. At one point, I had a flag in my room with Tom Brady. I was a diehard Tom Brady fan. I still love Tom Brady. I still love Tom Brady. I hate Patrick Mahomes. Will never touch Tom Brady. That aside, my favorite non-Eagle of all time, though, was always J.J. Watt. So I rooted for the Texans back in 2018 when they beat up on Josh Allen in the first round, went up 24 on the Chiefs, choked the game, and, traded D-Hop because there was a lot of head coaching problems with the squad. Obviously, Deshaun Watson was electric during that time. And the more and more I see on him and stuff, he's just awful. He does not want to be in the league, like Ben said. I said, give it 2 years from now, when his contract's done, he'll never touch a major league ever again. He's trash. I don't know how you go from being as good as you were, then getting paid all that money, and then just sucking. I said it 2 years ago that Jacoby Brissett beat him out on that starting position, and Joe Flacco did it last year.
I heard a great take on this on another football podcast I listened to. Deshaun Watson looks like a third-string level quarterback that got signed off the street and had to play 2 days later without learning the playbook. Like he looks awful. I don't know if it's him he just doesn't care. Maybe. I don't know if it's just he didn't recover from his injuries. I don't know if he has CTE. Like, I don't know what it is. But if I'm the Browns, and there's no way they do this, I'm benching him. I do not
I
care.
bench him too.
I do
For
not
Jameis
care.
Winston, 100%.
Jameis Winston has proven, although he is turnover prone, he has proven he can win games in the NFL with the right offensive
I would
line.
start him.
And the Browns
I would
have
start him.
a ton of talent on that offense, but
I'm
it's
gonna
all going to waste.
I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna sound like such a joke. I'd rather start Aiden O'Connell over Deshaun Watson.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Here's the
It-
question.
It sounds like a
least you
joke.
At
Do you
least
guys think
have
it's all
somebody
up
that
here?
Seems to care. At least you have somebody that seems to care about winning.
It can't
Deshaun Watson
be
doesn't seem to
all
care
up
about winning.
there. Bro, he's
No.
probably too distracted of how attractive his woman is to play football at this point. Like it's so
Okay,
stupid.
I got a
but
question. I got a
That's a
question.
great
I got a
clip.
Browns
I
question.
love that clip.
Go
That's
for it.
Yeah. So my Browns question is: do you think at this time the Browns are regretting getting rid of Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because-
I
because-
said
because-
Baker
look at
was
how
the
he's
heart
playing
and soul
today.
of that team,
So,
and nobody
yes,
would listen
So
to me.
this is why I give Baker
I was
Mayfield
always a
so
Baker
much credit.
fan.
I give
He
Baker
took
Mayfield
him to
so
the
much credit.
playoffs.
He came to the worst franchise in NFL history. At that time, they were the worst franchise in NFL history. They drafted him number 1 overall. It was a controversial pick, but still, he's a loudmouth guy, but he is confident and he knows that or at least he thinks that he's one of the best players in the league. He
Jake,
goes to the Browns. He changes the entire culture of the team, takes them to the playoffs for the first time in God who knows long. Then after making it to the playoffs, has one not even terrible year, just one off year. And they go, this guy sucks. We're going to get rid of him and grab Deshaun Watson. And then he takes the Bucks to the playoffs. Why would you get rid of the guy that changed the culture of your team to a winning team just because he had one off year? That shows to me the Browns don't know what they're
I'll put
doing.
I'll put it to you this way too, Jake. He was that close to being Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Exactly.
That close.
Exactly. And it just shows to me that the Browns do not care whatsoever about the culture of their team or the fan base if the guy that everybody loved in Cleveland, they got rid of.
Yeah, and the one thing you didn't even add about that season is he was playing well, got hurt, and then they brought him back too early. He was playing with a pretty much completely screwed up arm. His throwing arm was completely screwed up. So of course he was going to play horrible. And another point, I mean, the Deshaun Watson allegations, whether you believe them or not, they were still out there and people did not like him. And I think that completely proves your point that they just do not care about the culture in their organization.
And I don't know if you guys remember that season 2. They faced the Steelers in the playoffs, who had one of the best defenses in the league,
Mhm.
if not the best. He dropped like 40 points on them. He had an amazing playoff
That was the year that the Steelers started out like 11-0, right?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the
That was that
defense kind
year.
of carried
That
it
was-
for the rest
that
of
was-
the
that was-
season.
That was
Can
an
I-
awkward year.
Can I make another point about the Browns real quick, which I just think
Go
is funny?
for it.
The Browns have officially signed Kadarius Toney, which is the
Oh yeah.
most
joke.
Browns move I've ever seen because
No,
Kadarius
My new
Toney
Super Bowl
is just-
prediction. New Super Bowl
Kadarius
champ.
Toney, we all know he's just a guy that sucks at football that causes problems in the locker room,
Yep.
and he is the perfect fit for the
You guys,
Cleveland
you
Browns.
guys don't like Young
because they do
Joker?
not care.
No. I'm gonna
I
give.
like
They're
him-
bringing
I
him
liked
in to
him when
play
he had- when he
quarterback.
had,
I think they're
um,
bringing him
I
in to
liked
play
him-
quarterback.
I liked him when he had 200 yards on the Cowboys that one game, but then he punched Trayvon Diggs in the face and then got ejected.
He did do that, yeah. He and then he put out some Spotify music. He has like a Spotify
Yeah.
account and everything too.
Which I bet that's blowing up right now. I bet
He
that's
probably
Yeah,
blowing up.
going
sucks.
crazy.
He probably sucks compared to SOGCD, also known as CJ Gardner Johnson.
He probably sucks compared to the Gremlin or whatever AJ
Are
Brown.
we going to talk about our
calls
picks
himself.
from last week, though?
Or
Because-
Antonio
Wait,
Brown.
no, that's the next segment.
Oh, it's the next segment. I'm getting ahead of myself. I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm
yeah.
excited about that. I'm in
Um,
last
quick-
place. Like,
Quick tip.
Oh, spoiler!
Quick tip for the Browns.
If they watched last week, they would already know that.
I don't know how much you would have to put into a package for this trade to happen, but
Oh,
if I'm the
gosh.
Browns, I'm asking for the Falcons price on Michael Penix.
There's
Or
what?
Kirk Cousins.
No.
Honestly, no, I don't think the Falcons trade Michael Penix, but they might trade Kirk Cousins, which
He's
wouldn't be
not-
a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some sort of trade clause. in
That
that
aside, other games to look at, we basically touched base on the Ravens and Chiefs with Isaiah Likely. You know, they practically beat them. You know, big toe. We touched base on Joe Burrow already. He sucks, etc., etc. The Giants got slaughtered because we all picked the Giants.
Sam Darnold looks like
Not
an MVP
happening.
candidate.
Which is
He looks like
completely
Tom
your fault, by
Brady.
the way.
He doesn't
No,
look like an
Ben,
MVP. He looks like the
hold
best
on.
quarterback of all
Hold
time.
on. You know what I'm gonna say, Ben? You are wrong on that statement. You know who actually looked like an MVP candidate?
Don't say it.
Ew.
Don't say it.
Sid from Toy Story, also known as Derek Carr, baby. 47-10.
Wow.
They're the Panthers, but I mean, all right, buddy, ball
Yeah,
out.
I don't want to.
Olave
I don't-
didn't even play good.
I don't even want to talk
Alright.
about the Panthers, guys. Don't watch last week's episode.
Um,
Don't
Yeah,
watch
but look out for the
I
graphic.
forgot he
Look
played.
out for the
Other-
graphic on Instagram. I'm making a graphic, and it will have everyone's biggest win and their biggest loss, and you know who Ben's biggest loss is going to be.
Just
Other
pick of the week,
games.
Ben, Panthers.
We kind of touched base on the Steelers Falcons. Obviously, it was a close game. Not very high scoring. Steelers kind of barely pulled it off. Another banger of a game though. Texans Colts. Anthony Richardson.
That
once
guy has an
again,
arm.
you are healthy,
forget how far he can
And
throw.
you
I told
make
you guys. I
football
told you guys. Everybody
exciting.
called me
You are
crazy.
him, Anthony Richardson.
Everybody called me
And
crazy. I said he was going to
that
be
one
a beast.
throw, and that one
I
throw
love Anthony Richardson.
was off of his back foot after he slipped and to regain himself.
Anthony
and
Richardson.
that was like
amazing.
60
Amazing.
yards in the air.
I'm
Oh
also
my
gonna
God.
say
you-
this. Where did Alec Pierce come from? He like kind of shined like 2 years ago and just decided to make a reoccurrence. Is he the new Hunter Renfro? I guess. All right.
Did you guys see the clip with Joe Flacco on the sideline?
Yes.
Joe Flacco, yeah, he was just talking to Anthony Richardson after the throw, and he goes, "That's the longest throw I've ever seen in game."
Yeah.
Joe
And
Flacco-
twice,
obviously,
too. He had,
though-
like 2 crazy throws, right?
Obviously, though, it was hard for them to beat the Texans with a powerhouse the way Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs played alongside Stroud. I think Diggs is going to be the one. I've been saying this, but we'll see how it goes.
But what does that say about Indianapolis? The fact that everybody, especially the 4 of us, said that the Texans.
That means
are
they're going to
every
come.
year,
They're going to
and then
come
they
second
come out
in the
and they lose
division.
by 2.
They're going to come second in the division. I
They're
don't
really-
see any other way around it.
Shane Steichen might be the most underrated head coach in the NFL.
I agree.
He's excellent offensively. It's all about the
though,
defense.
We
see.
had the Bills and Cardinals game, which was a very fire offensive game, even though we got to see nothing, and I mean nothing, from Marvin Harrison Jr.
I thought I got that
Um,
prediction right. I thought I was like.
I think Gabe and I hammered it home though, because we were both like, even though Josh Allen doesn't have a good team around him, at the end of the day, he's still Josh Allen. But
Mhm.
everyone probably saw Marvin Harrison Jr. wide open for the end of the game.
Cardinals should have
And
won.
Kyler Murray too short, cannot see him.
Yeah.
So
But it's not his
Um,
responsibility. That's a crazy thing to say, by the way.
Good.
that's crazy.
good.
Because
Yeah,
you're
it
the
is
quarterback.
crazy.
Yeah.
It is literally your job.
Stick to Call of Duty if that's the case, Kyler Murray.
He can. It's in his contract. He can. It's in his
There
contract.
was we pretty much touched base on the Bears and Titans. Like I said, Caleb Williams, you're trash.
My
Leave
team
the
almost-
NFL. There was the Jaguars and Dolphins game, which was
That was a good
also very close. Miami 120-17. Obviously, Tyreek Hill and A-Chain are just unbelievably good. Broncos Seahawks, a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah,
We all picked
Bo
Seahawks.
I'm not gonna lie. Bo
Um,
Nix really showed me that he could potentially be a good player in the NFL.
Yeah. I'm just shocked that it was as close as it was.
Two
Well, 'cause
picks
the
really.
last- No,
Um,
but the 2 picks were like learning curves. But like the last the last 2 drives were like, damn, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and also that team literally has no offensive talent. Basically, I mean, they
Yeah.
have Cortland Sutton, but that's about it.
Obviously,
And they have that new that Vele guy who showed out.
Yeah.
we also touched base on the Niners Jets game. You know, we knew the Niners were gonna win. Besides Ben,
Aaron Rodgers
Um,
is back. He didn't
was
pop his
trash.
Achilles.
the Buccaneers and Commanders had a ball out game. Jaden Daniels balled out. like I said.
Whoa. How do you go Jaden Daniels first when they lost by 17?
Yeah.
You act like he
Let's talk
didn't
about Baker
ball
Mayfield
out,
first, if
though.
anything.
Well, Baker
Oh my God,
Mayfield's
Baker
him, but
Mayfield,
you act
yeah.
like Jaden Daniels didn't ball out.
He had a good game, but his team put up 20 points.
We also we already spoke about the Cowboys and Browns, but there's two games specifically that I really wanted to touch base on real quick so that we could bang out our football predictions, and then that'll be it for the episode. First things first, everybody in here knows I'm a Georgia football fan when it comes to college football because unfortunately the four of us cannot like our own college for football until they
We're still in
decide
the
to
country.
decide to grab
Listen, I'm
Stan
still a Temple fan
Drayton
first,
and kick
first
him
and
out the
foremost.
door. Once Stan Drayton gets kicked out the door, that's when I'll start rooting again.
I don't.
You know
there's no
what?
fixing this.
As much as I'm not a fan of, like, especially while we're at the school, like trashing the head coach, I'm all for that. He's only made this team worse somehow. I don't know how,
I
but
don't even know how that was possible.
With that being said, though, everybody knows I like the Rams. I said the Rams were gonna be 13-4. I think
not
I
have listened
said,
to you, by the way.
and everybody knows I like the Lions too. Everybody knows I like Jared Goff. I like Amon-Ra, Laporta, etc., etc. But there's a deep meaning between my love relationship with Stafford. Goes all the way back to his Detroit days where he was just getting beat up and playing his heart out. Great guy. When it came time for the Super Bowl against the Bengals, all of the old heads that I knew picked the Bengals because they never done anything. But I wrote it out with Stafford. He was going through a lot that year. I can't remember, but his wife was in the hospital, if I'm correct, during the Super Bowl. He went through all that stuff in Detroit, and for Lions fans to be booing this guy even after they beat him in the playoffs last year, after everything he's done for the team, you're a disgrace.
Well, but the thing is, what did he do for the team? Like, yeah, he was probably the best quarterback in Detroit history, but at the same time, he didn't win anything. I don't even think
you
he
can't
won
blame
anything.
him for that.
Yeah, but it's like
He made the
also they're not
playoffs
gonna be
with him.
Yeah,
cheering
but
him.
here's my other thing too. He got traded. He didn't ask for an out. He got traded, and you didn't end on bad terms, and you're booing the guy.
That's
I'm
always
saying,
so
I
weird
think-
to me when people get traded.
He
that happens.
listen.
Like,
He
you
said,
guys know with Matisse Thybulle, right? How they defaced his mural after he got traded.
Yeah, like he said when he played in the playoffs last year against the Rams that of course they were gonna boo. It's a playoff game. It's not the end of the world, but it's a regular season game. I mean, like.
Well, I think that the Lions fans are showing that they love this team that they have right now, and I don't even think necessarily they're booing the Rams for the Stafford being on the Rams. I think they might be booing the Rams and like pretty much their team by saying, "You guys didn't believe in Jared Goff. Fine, we'll do good with Jared Goff." I think that's what they're more booing than booing Stafford.
All right.
I mean, it
I
turned
think-
out to be a
yeah.
win-win trade, though, because, I mean, the Rams got the Super Bowl
oh,
and Detroit
yeah,
got the
oh,
first.
yeah.
For sure. That might go
exactly. And
down
then
as
if
the
you-
most even trade in NFL history.
Yeah, and then if you look at like who the Lions got, they got like Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, a couple other guys. So it's like a
Mhm.
crazy trade, but also the Rams got what everybody goes for, and that's a Super Bowl. So
I
if you
wanna
can give up your
give-
entire that's the whole point of sports. If you give up your whole future to win the Super Bowl and do it, then it's worth it.
I want to give a quick shout out to, well, not even their full team, Jay, because they got a lot of young guys. And I actually wanted to give a quick shout out to one of the young guys on the Rams. I actually saw something the other day, and I was like, what? I was in disbelief. Everybody here knows that I'm a big Kobe Turner guy. I said, yeah, he should come to the Birds. He's a real big dude, D tackle. He sings. He fits in perfectly with Jason Kelsey and them. Jump right on the Christmas album, which the third one's coming out, like I announced. It's coming out in November. Get excited for it.
With Boyz II Men. I'm excited.
I couldn't tell you why, but I was scrolling through Kobe Turner's Instagram, and then I stumbled across his girlfriend's Instagram, right? She has an
Where's this one
old
going?
picture.
Where's this one going?
Wait, listen. She has an old picture of him and her on there, and he's wearing a shirt that says Temple Matt Rule Football. And I went, what? I went, wait, when was he on Temple? I went, when was he on Temple? I don't remember this, but I think he was.
Oh my god.
I think he
That was
I
the
think
most
he played for
random-
Matt Rule.
That
And
was
I
the
was
most
like,
random
what?
story I think I've
I was
ever
like,
heard
no
on this
wonder
podcast.
why I love
was
him
like-
so much.
That's like taking the pins and just seeing where everything pieces
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
I was like, no
exactly.
wonder why I love Kobe Turner so much. Like, it was unbelievable.
No, he never
Um,
went to Temple. He went to Richmond and Wake Forest.
Maybe somebody
I
that
don't
he
know.
knew.
Probably recruiting
someone he
something.
knew.
he got the
Last
shirt.
game that I want to touch base on real quick before we go into our predictions and end it. The Raiders Chargers game. And the main reason why I want to touch base on this is Justin Herbert, you are still him. Love you to death. Lam McConkey, you're a dog. You like the pun there? Yeah. That aside though,
Antonio Pierce, you should be
underrated,
fired.
really underrated take here. Really underrated take here. This is gonna be a steaming hot take when I say this. After what I've seen in that game, and when you don't allow Max Crosby to get a pressure or a sack, and the way this dude moves
Oh my god.
for his size,
Crazy.
it's been a while. I couldn't tell you the last time an offensive lineman won Rookie of the Year. But Joe Alt, you are nasty. Oh my god.
Wait,
Dude,
can I just
he
Chris,
was putting Max Crosby
much
on
as-
wheels.
As much as I would love Joe Alt to win Rookie of
It
the
was
Year,
nuts.
let's go back to Creed
He's
Humphreys Rookie Year, where
unbelievable.
Creed Humphrey was literally the best center in the league. And he
Well, guess
wasn't even-
what?
He
Guess
was
what? You
he
know what
wasn't
I
even
gotta tell
considered-
you? No one cares about Creed Humphrey. Jason Kelsey was still the best center.
But still,
wait.
statistically, Creed Humphrey was the best center in the league, and yet he
No,
wasn't
it was
even
Jason Kelsey.
considered top 3.
can I just
Joe
say,
Alt is nasty though, man. He's disgusting.
I just want to say Antonio Pierce made a fireable decision by punting on a 4th and
Yeah,
1
we
from the
gotta discuss
43.
that. How
They
did
were
you
down
do that?
6 points and they punted the ball on a 4th and 1. That is insane.
agree.
That
Wait,
is-
Ben, where was the 4th and 1 though? It was in
it
Chargers
was
territory.
in Chargers territory on the Chargers 43-yard line. I don't
All
care.
right.
I don't care. There was 2 minutes left in the game. You have to go for that. You have to go
agree.
for that. I
And
don't
for
care
anybody
what-
looking at that 22-10 scoreline, it was 16-10, I believe, at the time, right? Or
It was
All right.
16-10 at the time. They turn the ball over. The Chargers go down, score a touchdown,
Jake.
and then the Raiders throw a pick. That's insane. I don't care what anybody says. That's a
We're
fireable
moving
play.
into the last segment, Jake. I want you to pull up the sheet. Tell us our final
Yeah.
predictions from
All
week
right.
1. Tell us the records.
So I believe people can guess who came in last this week because of how angry and upset he's been. Ben came in last with a record of 8-8.
Okay.
I
Ooh.
want to say quickly, I believe his worst loss of the week was the Panthers. He picked the
Oh,
Panthers
you
to win.
believe? You believe? You have no
And-
idea. I wonder.
And the
Uh,
best win, you didn't really have a win that like nobody else like had. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers for you. You split it with. Actually, no, you chose Falcons. So let's just
never
go.
mind. You didn't have that one.
Let's go Chargers. Chargers was the best win for you.
Yes.
So good job on
Okay,
picking
Jim
that.
Harbaugh.
Okay.
First place, a 3-way tie after week 1 between myself, Gabe, and Chris. My worst loss was the Packers. I chose the Packers to win, and everyone else picked the Eagles. My best win, though, was the Lions. I picked the Lions. Everyone else picked the Rams.
Was my worst
Gabe.
loss the Bengals?
Chris's worst loss was not the Bengals because actually everyone else picked the Bengals. So, Chris, your worst loss was the Browns. You chose the Browns to win.
Oh.
Everyone else chose the Cowboys. Your
All right.
best win, though, I would have to say would be a tie. You got a 3-way tie. The Steelers, the 49ers, and the Chargers, you all tied with one other person. So you didn't have too good of a best pick, but you were just consistent. And
I like it.
Gabe was the most consistent out of all of us. His worst loss was probably the Jets game against the Niners. He
Yeah, that was
lost,
not a
but
good one.
also Ben chose the Jets. And then your best win, Gabe, was, believe it or not, probably the Bills tied with me and the Steelers tied with Chris.
All right.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
once again, you guys are both consistent. My radical decisions made it to where I only am tied because I had a better big decision with the Lions. And then Ben, your radical decisions with going on a limb, choosing the Panthers, failed.
Jake, we truly appreciate you, all
Yeah.
three of us, for
And-
running
yep.
this sheet for
And
us.
I will be taking control of this all season long, and I'm happy to do it. And look forward to the Instagram where I'll be posting results week after week. Hopefully, I'll try to get consistent with it either Monday after the Monday night game or Tuesday after the week. So definitely check in on that to stay tuned and to stay up to date with all of our schedules, because there will be, we do not know yet, but there will be a punishment for whoever
Yes.
comes in last
Yes,
place,
there
chosen by either you, the fans, or whoever wins the competition.
Yo,
Wait, real quick though. First off, also go check out the Instagram reels that we're posting up. They're doing pretty good numbers and they're pretty entertaining. So if you want to just check in the highlights of the pod, definitely do that on the Instagram and other socials as we get started with those. And also, Jake, real quick, what was our record? So Ben went 8-8. What did we do?
Yes, we all tied at 10-6.
Solid.
All right.
Okay.
That's already,
All right.
that's not good.
Um,
That's not good.
maybe for the punishment too, the other three people who didn't lose could discuss on it too.
100%.
We'll talk about that later. Jake, are you ready to fill out week
Yeah.
2 predictions?
Let's go.
All right, first game on the board: Bills Dolphins. I'm riding with Tua, baby.
I'm
I'm riding with
Let's go.
Tua.
Let's
No,
go, Tua.
Ben, you're gonna make me lose now, dude.
Let's go Tua.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I'm
we just
riding
can't
with-
agree
I'm
with
riding
Ben.
with the
That's a death
Dolphins.
wish. I'm going Dolphins too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So since
Is
I'm
this the
filling
first
everything out,
consensus?
I'm just giving everyone a warning. Since I'm filling everything out, I will be picking last every single time. But no, this will not be our first consensus because Raheem Mostert has already been ruled out, and Devin Achane still has a chance to be ruled out. I'm taking a gamble. I'm going with the Bills.
Jeff
going
Wilson
2-0.
Jr., bro. You forget. Don't
And
forget the
who-
name.
I up on my fantasy team, my other fantasy team. Looked at his stats last year. Not one touchdown last year, and he played. So, yeah, I'm going with the Bills, and I am acknowledging that the Dolphins might destroy
All right.
me, and this might screw me, but also this might help me.
I'm fine with
Next,
that.
next game, we have the 49ers Vikings. This one should be a consensus. I'm going with the 49ers.
Yeah, Niners.
I don't know. It looks like Minnesota had the better quarterback, but I'm also going Niners.
Jake,
And we officially have our first consensus of the week. The Niners are going to beat the Vikings.
I think the next game should also be a consensus, but I have a weird feeling that one of you is going to go underdog here. Seahawks Patriots. I'm going with the Seahawks.
I don't know if there's going to be consensus, but I am also going Seahawks. But the Patriots look pretty good last week.
I've been
so-
saying somebody's going to pick the Patriots. It's
They
gonna
look
be an
pretty good,
oddball.
but they put up like 16 points. I'm gonna go Seattle. It's gonna be
Okay.
close though, I think.
Is this second consensus?
It is the second consensus. I choose the Seahawks.
We're just gonna
Okay.
go across the board. now. The entire
This
time.
next game, I'm going to give a quick backstory on it because it's really, really funny. I am not allowed to pick the Giants this week for certain reasoning. So obviously my pick is the Commanders. The reasoning behind that, I'm literally waiting for my class up at Temple, and I get a text message saying, "Are you playing Pokemon Go right now?" And I'm like, "What? Wait, why are you texting me this, Jake?" And he's like, "Dude, I'm literally destroying your Pokemon in the gym." And I'm like, "Leave me alone, bro." So I messaged him back. I said, listen. I said, "Let me keep the gym, and I won't pick the Giants this week." And he goes, "Deal." So I was like, all right, deal.
All right, here's the important question. What teams are you guys on, real quick? Because I
Red.
need to know if I can add
I'm
mine to
on
the gym real
red.
quick.
I'm on yellow.
He picked
I'm
yellow
gonna
because he's
go,
weird.
What?
All right, I'm blue.
I'm the only one here that
That's
doesn't
okay.
play Pokemon Go, I guess.
Yeah,
Dude, it was
but
so
I just need,
stupid.
I need
I don't
everyone
even
to
know
know
how we found out that I was playing.
because
He
your
texted
name.
me.
It's your name. It's literally your name. Your name is your name. That's crazy. I need everyone to know that I have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday during that time that Chris is waiting for his. So this is going to be happening every single week from now on. Literally every
It's
single week
crazy
we're going to be
beef.
beefing about Pokemon Go.
Or I'm gonna pick the Giants every time if you keep smacking my Pokemon around.
That's fine.
Like I
That's
said,
just not this
my
week.
pick's the Commanders. What's everybody else's?
Yeah, I gotta go to the Commanders after that Giant. I was gonna pick the Giants this week, but their performance last week was just so atrocious, and the
Give me Jaden
Commanders
Daniels,
showed me
baby.
the Commanders showed me they actually care and played with effort. So I'm going with the Commanders.
Gabe.
We always beat up on the whatever
Yeah.
the Washington Blanks, whatever their team name is. We always beat up on them year after year. Daniel Jones played horrible. And I think he doesn't play great again this week, but I think he gets it done at least. He has the weapons. We know that. And I think the defense comes together better than they did last week. Give me the Giants. Hopefully.
So I'm also picking the Giants, but I have a spiel to go into real quick. So first of all, Gabe, tell me, because you've been all through everything.
Make it quick because we got a lot of games.
I will. Okay, so basically, Daniel Jones, he sucks now. We defended him so much the last couple years. This year is the first year. This is the best offensive line he's ever had. And this is also the best receiving core he's ever had. And he just showed us that he sucks. He sucks. He can't play. And I believe we will win because of our defense, because we had 3 turnovers last week. We had 3 turnovers, and we had 3 points off of those turnovers. Give me the Giants.
All right.
I like that.
Next game up, this one should be a consensus. Chargers Panthers. I'm taking the Chargers.
Ben,
Yeah, but
I believe in the Panthers, but not enough to pick them after last week. I'm going with the Chargers.
Unlike Ben, I have absolutely no belief in that football team. Give me the Chargers.
And we have our third consensus of the week. It's the Chargers.
Guys. Laugh at me all you want with this next game. I don't care. I'll go against them back-to-back weeks. Saints Cowboys. Give me the Saints. Let's go, Derek Carr. Let's ride. I don't care if you beat up on Carolina. You can beat up on Dallas too.
But the thing is, Carolina to Dallas is such a big jump.
I
that
don't
care.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Jawan Johnson for damn sake, Taysom Hill. Let's ride.
I just picked up Jawan Johnson for fantasy. I'm hoping that he delivers.
Give me the Saints, Ben.
I cannot pick the Cowboys to lose their home opener. I'm sorry. I just can't. I got to pick the Cowboys.
And correct me if I'm wrong. This was the team that went undefeated last year at home, right?
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
I think. Yeah. I mean, did they play a playoff game at home?
Yeah, but in the regular season they were undefeated at home.
Gabe, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm also sticking with the Cowgirls. So
Jake.
Yep, Cowboys.
All right, I'll be by myself again. I don't care. Let's go, Derek Carr. Let's go. This next game is a crazy one. Colts Packers.
This is a tough one.
Oh my God.
This is
if Jordan Love was playing, this would be a different conversation, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts.
I don't know.
I'm going with the Colts.
You know, Green Bay is starting Malik Willis in 2024 as of now. I'm going the Colts. Comfortably.
I wouldn't say comfortably, but
Jordan Love is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's the entire team.
I think he's a very
give me the Colts.
Big part of their team.
Gabe.
The Colts looked so good last week, but I think Green Bay actually put up a very good fight against Philadelphia. My gut says the Colts, so I guess I'll stick with them, but I think it's going to be very close.
Jake.
I wish we wouldn't have consensus here, but we do. I picked the Colts.
All right. This next one's also a tough one. Browns Jaguars. They're both middle of the pack.
Give me Jacksonville.
I can't pick Deshaun Watson after what he did. I don't know if I can ever pick the Browns ever again in any game until Deshaun Watson is benched. I'm going with Eagles legend Doug Peterson in the
You make a fair point there, Ben. I'm going to ride with you. You make a really good point there. Jaguars. I'll take the Jags.
It looks like I am not going with another consensus. I'm picking the Browns for the sole fact that Trevor Lawrence is the biggest fraud in NFL history.
Who did you pick,
Bro,
Gabe?
he looked so good last week. What do you...
Gabe, you picked Jacksonville too?
Yeah, I did. I
do not care, Ben. Look at his stats. Him and Daniel Jones are the same person.
Next game, we got the Jets and Titans, and we already know Ben's picking.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the
Bring
Jets.
out the mayonnaise.
Mayo.
You know what? You know what? Just because you guys are making fun of me, I will pick the Titans. I
Go
will
ahead.
pick Will Levis and the Tennessee
You know what? I
Titans.
saw that one coming, honestly.
I will. And you know why? Because Aaron Rodgers is not good. He is not a good
Neither is
quarterback.
Will Levis.
And you know what?
Okay.
Those Jets receivers looked atrocious last week. I don't care. They had so many drops.
Yo,
I do not care.
hold on.
Well, Garrett Wilson
hold
looked
on.
good,
Hold on. Don't you dare ever talk bad on my Pookie, Alan Lazard. Don't you dare.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's he bringing that?
Don't you
He had a
dare.
great week.
He went off, bro. That's number one
Garrett
waiver
Wilson
wire
also had a
pickup
great
this week.
game.
That's
Wait,
number one
say that
waiver
again.
wire
Wait, wait.
pickup this week besides Jordan Mason.
Say that again.
Yeah, wait,
Wait,
Chris-
Xavier,
Chris, say
I
that
picked
again?
it.
I ain't say nothing.
Say that again.
I ain't say nothing.
I wonder what one of the Instagram posts
I
of this next week's
picked
gonna be.
I picked the Jets. Ben said the Titans. Gabe, are you going Jets?
Yeah, I'm picking the better football
You are
team
my
here.
Jake,
son.
Jake, are you
Sunshine.
picking Jets?
My
Yeah, I'm
only
not eating
sunshine.
mayonnaise
All right.
and coffee like Ben is. at the end of the season. I'm
Buccaneers,
picking Jets.
Lions. I'm going with the Lions.
Finally.
I think this is gonna be a close game,
I
honestly.
think
It
I
is
think
close,
Buccaneers-
but I'm going with the
Tampa Bay
Lions.
looks so good. I'm also taking Detroit, but I think it's gonna be close.
Ben,
If this was in Tampa Bay, I would pick Tampa Bay, but only
like
because
that.
it's in Detroit. I'm going Detroit, but I could totally see Tampa Bay winning this game.
Yeah, I think it's
Raider.
definitely in the realm of
Jake, what's your
possibility.
pick?
Totally agree. It's the Lions.
All right. Raiders, Ravens. Consensus, Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, Ravens.
Next game is also consensus. Rams, Cardinals. I'm going with the Rams.
It's not a
Rams.
consensus. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals, baby. Arizona at home. Look,
Yeah.
I picked Arizona last week. They barely lost. This
Have fun
Arizona
with
team.
that.
This Arizona team does not play defense. They have the worst defense in the league, but they will have a top 10
Have fun
offense in
with
the
that.
league. Which
Right, and
means
they're notoriously going up against a bad offense in the Rams, right?
no, it does not matter. what
Bro,
offense.
Cooper Cup
They're
is
going
back
up-
to prime again. Like
Well,
prime
number
peak.
one, Puka Nakua is out, so that's a
Doesn't
big
matter.
worry.
They have other people to step
Cooper
up.
Fun
Cup
fact.
is an animal.
You guys are calling me crazy, but the Rams are only 2.5-point favorites. So Vegas thinks
Do you
it's going to
think
be a
the
close
Rams?
game.
Do you
I
think
think-
Kyler Murray throws it to Marvin Harrison?
I do.
Yes,
I think
hopefully.
the coaches are going to be like, dude, what are you doing? You're not throwing to your best player. You gotta get him involved. And honestly, I know the Rams look solid defensively, but they were not great against the run. And James Conner is a beast. James Conner is an insane running back. He survived freaking cancer, so that man is a monster. And I
He's a beast.
will pick
Jake, Gabe.
Arizona Cardinals.
Shout out James Conner for surviving cancer, but he's not going to survive the Los Angeles Rams.
He is not surviving the Los Angeles Rams. Give me the Rams.
I
I'm
gotta
sorry
go
that
bold. I
like
gotta make a
this
bold
week
pick of the
is
week.
kind of like You know, it's a lot of like favorites.
Not really, because
Don't
we
blame
have
you.
a
Blame
bunch
the
of,
NFL for this.
and we also have a bunch of upsets that could happen, which is more than we had last week.
All right, Chiefs Bengals. I'm going with the Chiefs. After
I
seeing what
think
Joe
this might
Burrow
be the
did,
easiest
get out of
pick,
here.
honestly.
Get out of
This-
here.
yeah.
After what Joe Burrow did, get out
This
of
could
here.
be the
Did you
easiest
guys
pick.
see? Did you guys see like the conspiracy theories about the water bottle, about how he like lifted the water
Yeah.
bottle and his wrist wasn't good? Like, what is that? Like, they talked to the Joe Burrow.
I don't know.
Burrow
He
after
came
the
out on
game.
press about it and was kind of like, "What? Like, I'm fine."
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
Guys,
Because there's nothing
guys.
to worry about.
I kind of want to start doing this. I want to do a bet of the week. My bet of the week is right now, according to ESPN, the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. Chiefs cover the spread easily if that line stays
Yeah.
the same. Easily. I would put so much of my own money on that. Are you kidding?
All right, so
Oh, I guess-
Chiefs from me, Chiefs from Ben, Chiefs from Gabe,
Yep.
Jake.
Chiefs from me as well.
All right, Steelers Broncos. I'm going with the Steelers.
This was a tough matchup for me to predict. And honestly,
Broncos
Honestly-
look good, but the Steelers defense is gonna eat them up. They're gonna eat up Bo Nix.
I just think the Steelers defense is just disgustingly good. And
They're gonna eat
though
up Bo
their
Nix.
offense is absolutely atrocious, one of the
Horrible.
worst offenses I've ever seen. Mike Tomlin, he's a voodoo villain. I don't even know what he is. He works with the devil or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He finds a way to get 9 wins, and one of those wins is coming this week.
Steelers from me, Steelers from Ben, Gabe.
Yep, give me Pittsburgh as well.
Jake?
They're gonna go 2-0.
I agree with you, Chris. Bo Nix is going to get eaten whole, and he
Bro,
is
we got
not
like
gonna do well
6
against the defense.
consensuses already.
It's
This is
fun.
nuts.
It's fun.
We just know football, I guess.
2 games left. Texans, Bears. I'm going with the Texans. Caleb Williams, you suck. You're trash. I don't care. I don't care. Will Anderson Jr. is going to have a field day with Caleb Williams, and it's going to be
I
hilarious.
don't think Caleb Williams is trash. I think the game plan was for him to be conservative. Don't turn the ball over. And he did what he was asked. With that being said, Houston is going to win by like 20 points. But I do think Caleb Williams is not that bad. I think it was just the game plan.
Oh, man. All right, so Houston for me, Houston for Ben. Gabe.
Yep, second with Houston.
Jake.
I do want to say, I think this is the game where Caleb Williams, he will lose. The Texans are going to win, but this is going to be the game. It's going to be a closer game than everybody thinks, and this is the game where they're going to say, Caleb Williams, you have a chance of becoming a star in the league, but you're just not there yet. Because I'm predicting he's going to have a great game, but he's going to throw an interception late in the game that's going to screw them over.
That'd be
All
crazy.
right. And I think this last game is probably going to be consensus.
This better be consensus. This
Nope.
better be.
Falcons, Eagles. I'm going with my Birds and Saquon. Ben.
I mean, I don't know how you can watch Atlanta last week and how I know Pittsburgh is a great defense, but I mean, Kirko looked awful.
Atlanta's got a great secondary too.
They do have a great secondary, but it honestly does not matter. It does not matter. It does not matter. The
I was
Eagles
a
are
little
winning.
disappointed in Matthew Judon in the first game. Gabe
Zach
Listen,
Vaughn.
you
by
have
the
a
way.
team.
Zach Vaughn.
is him.
He was awesome. He was
You have
awesome.
a team in Atlanta that. Nah,
The
I'm
Kobe
just playing.
Dean's
Give me
him,
the Eagles.
The Kobe Dean is him too. Jake.
All right. I am picking the Falcons because I found out a fun
Homer.
stat last week, and this will be the nail in the coffin that will, if I win, will drive me miles ahead in the competition. I found out a stat last week that Jalen Hurts in 7 consecutive games has at least 1 turnover. And that even showed last week as well. They fumbled, he threw a pick. So, first of all, my fantasy team, I have the Falcons defense. I want them to do good. Also, I think the turnovers might be a little bit more of a problem than they think, and they will turn the ball over 2 to 3 times and they'll lose.
I think that streak is bound to come to an end this week. In fact, I will say that streak it comes to an end this week.
I agree. I 100,000% I
He
agree.
still seems turnover prone to me, and like he's a good quarterback, but I mean everybody has their flaw, and that.
I mean, that's fine.
just what it
Josh Allen's a star quarterback, and he's a turnover machine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
both
It happens.
both
It's not
of-
the end of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a great quarterback, but
both of Jalen Hurts' picks last week were all on him, all completely. his
Well,
fault, so.
That'll be it for this week's episode. We had an absolute banger this week, guys. I really enjoyed this one.
me too.
So stay hyped, stay hungry, keep the frenzy alive. We'll see you on the next one.